Paris.
Available at Dillard's.
Channel 5, KXAS-TV.
We would have had a real catastrophe on our hands under a different circumstance.
They've tried to get their son home, but Vincent says the Immigration and Naturalization Service has been unwilling to help. They're all earning money for the family dream, but for many, the dream isn't coming true.
The news continues with the night team. Brad Wright, Alice Carone, Scott Murray, and Harold Taft. And now, Channel 5 News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Making news tonight, an 8-year-old boy who needs medical attention is stranded in Mexico tonight. The youngster is trapped by Immigration Department red tape.
The boy has not been allowed to return to the U.S. since June, so he's not seen his Fort Worth family for 5 months now. Channel 5's Mark Schumacher joins us with the story of a family that doesn't know where to turn. Mark?
Brad and Alice, Francisco Amador was born in Mexico, but he spent almost all of his 8 years in Fort Worth. His father is a U.S. citizen, and his mother is a legal resident. When the Amadors tried to return home after visiting relatives in Mexico, Francisco was not allowed to cross the border. To complicate matters, he now needs medical attention. Dr. Howard Schaefer called Channel 5 News out of frustration. Last November, he had performed ear surgery on Francisco Amador. The boy had a hole in his eardrum. A year later, the boy is stranded 1,000 miles from home, and his ear is infected.
I wrote a letter explaining the child's problem and figured, oh, this will take care of it in a moment. When the father and mother came back a week later and said that they'd made no progress, yeah, it was incredible.
For the family, it's been trying.
Yeah, I miss him.
Vincent Amador and his wife Petra can now only hold on to a small picture of Francisco. They've tried to get the boy home, but nothing has worked. Vincent says the Immigration and Naturalization Service has been unwilling to help.
They turn it down. I just don't know why, but I just don't like it, the way they handle things.
That's been frustrating for the Amadors, and it's only outweighed by their concern for their son's health.
The reason we think bringing him here because the doctor, he already know what's the problem.
Medical treatment is expensive in Mexico. The Amadors can't afford it, and Dr. Schaefer says Francisco can't afford to be without it.
Left untreated, it could undo a great deal of what I've already done. Hopefully that hasn't happened, and hopefully it's not irreversible and we can make things right.
Tonight I talked with Ron Chandler, the Regional Director of Immigration and Naturalization. He can't understand why Francisco hasn't been allowed to come home, especially since his parents are here legally. He says he'll meet with the parents, and if everything is on the up and up, then Chandler says all the Amadors will have to do is fill out a petition form, and hopefully that should bring him home. They hope.
Now, if all goes well, when will Francisco be able to come home?
Well, they say the petition takes approximately 30 to 60 days to go through, but Ron Chandler told me tonight, he says if they're all okay, and if he can get that form filled out, he said we'll have that boy here tomorrow if possible. Sure. So it sounds like the wheels are turning at this hour.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay.
In other news tonight, Governor Bill Clements is optimistic he can persuade the federal government to declare parts of East Texas a disaster area, enabling residents to receive relief funds. The governor today toured parts of the cities hit the hardest, Jacksonville and Palestine. Preliminary estimates of the damage in Palestine alone are inching toward the $12 million mark. Clements will ask the federal government for disaster relief to cover the 20 Texas counties that suffered storm damage.
We'll try to consolidate all of these different counties and damaged areas into a regional concept and get relief on a regional basis.
The governor plans to make the fund request in the next few days. Here in the Metroplex, a local retailer spent the day going through their warehouse, setting aside clothing and other items to send to the storm victims. Officials of Colwell & Sons say the public can add their own donations until tomorrow, and then everything will be shipped off to East Texas. Meanwhile, Red Cross representatives say they're collecting only cash donations for distribution to the storm victims.
The Congressional Committee which investigated the Iran-Contra scandal issues its report tomorrow.
But today, 8 Republicans who served on that committee issued their own interpretation of the facts. Larry Estepa says it defends the president.
And why not, Brad? The one coming out tomorrow is written by the Democratic majority, and it's going to blame the president for a lot of what happened, basically because it happened while he was president. In effect, he was there, he should have been in charge, but he wasn't. The absentee landlord approach to foreign policy. All that came out during the hearings. What's coming out now is what each side tried to hide then, abject partisanship. Neither side has to pretend to be objective anymore. And a year before a new president is elected, neither side can afford to play the middle. So Republicans call the Democrats' conclusions hysterical.
Its version talks in terms of grave constitutional crisis, presidential abuse of power, etc. I think all of that's significantly overdone.
Democrats say it isn't hysteria, it's just history.
I think the minority report is an embarrassing effort to pretend that nothing's wrong, nothing bad happened. It's business as usual.
It's been anything but that at the White House since the Speaker of the House got involved in those negotiations for peace in Central America. But today, Jim Wright and Secretary of State Schultz admitted fighting over peace isn't good diplomacy or good public relations.
We turned around, we're looking at the future, that's where we're going. Neither of us wants to create unnecessary problems.
But the potential for more problems is still there, because when somebody asked Wright if he'll stay out of the talks now, he couldn't say yes. Brad, Alice?
Thank you, Larry.
In other news tonight, jurors returned a split decision in Ann Hamilton's lawsuit against Tarrant County and Commissioner Dick Anderson. Hamilton was fired and later rehired as county welfare director last year. Jurors found that Anderson maliciously tried to get rid of Hamilton for personal reasons. He was ordered to pay Hamilton $20,000 for mental anguish and $30,000 for attorney fees. But the jury ruled against Hamilton in her case against the county. Commissioner Dick Anderson's attorney will appeal the award.
In tonight's Crime Stoppers report, Fort Worth police need help in solving the attempted murder of the owner of a neighborhood convenience store. On August 28th, the owner of the S&M grocery store and a security guard were returning to the store on Seminary Drive after making a trip to the bank. As they parked, three men wearing ski masks approached their vehicle.
Don't move or blow your head off!
One of the suspects motioned for the security guard to lie on the ground. The next thing the guard heard was 3 shots. He then saw the men run to a blue Chevrolet Suburban. The store owner was found slumped over in the car. The suspects are described as 3 males.